Mm. So you know, this is the serious conversation day. This is the serious conversation, and now it's time to have another serious conversation about Ben Simmons in the Sixers. Now, when recording this is what's today? This is Friday afternoon slash evening. The game 6 of the NBA of the Sixers and Hawks game has not commenced yet. So if they win, they win. As in the Sixers. If the Sixers win, they win. Shouts out to y'all. Y'all push it to a game 7. But I need and if Ben Simmons goes off for 40 or whatever, hey, good for you. But you ever have a friend that you see he or she just does some wild stuff constantly, but it's like they do it in spurts, but it keeps happening, and it's just like, I mean, it's like you try to convince yourself, you know what it is. Boom, you have a friend that lies a lot, but that you convince yourself maybe they don't know, or they're still good people, but they do lie a lot. It's not like one of them they lie all the time, as far as like they lie about huge things, but they lie about little things. Like, did you go to the store today? Nah, but they did go to the store. Or, is that my charger? Nah, but that's my charger. The Sixers, year after year, either it's them, either it's the media. They try to convince us that this is their year. Hell, and people fall for it. I fall for it. Like the NBA falls for it. It just people. It's always they'll always have a there'll be a game where Joel Embiid goes crazy and they just blow somebody out. It'll be a game like when the Sixers played Utah and Ben Simmons had 42 or whatever. They always have those games where it makes you think, oh yeah, they can win it all. This is them. But then they have games like what happened in game 4 and game 5 when they're up big. In game 5 they were up, what, 18 points? No, game 4 they were up 18 points against Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta, and lose that game. Game game 5, they're up 26 points in the third quarter and lose the game. Atlanta scores 40 points in the fourth quarter. And in the whole second half, only Joel Embiid and Seth Curry were the only players to score a field goal. On paper, when you look at the 76ers, they have everything. They have a dynamic point guard, and that has Ben Simmons. As far as he's 6'11", he can play point, he can guard every position. He can get to the rim with ease. Ben Simmons. You have a dynamic big, Joel Embiid, arguably one of the best, well, unarguably one of the best bigs in the league, scoring, crazy footwork, crazy defense, really good. You have a sharpshooter, Seth Curry. Seth Curry, while he's not Stephen Curry, I think he has the best shooting percentage in the league this year. The other night he had I think he went like 7 for 8 or 7 for 9 from the three. You have a dynamic wing, Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris can give you 30 any night. Tobias Harris is a big frame. Tobias Harris can hit mid range. He can get to the cup. He's a good free throw shooter. He's a decent 3-point. No, he's an average 3-point shooter. The wing. You have a decent bench. You have Shake Milton, who is a spark. Dwight Howard, who's a future Hall of Famer, even though people don't like me to say that. He's a future Hall of Famer, especially what he did in Orlando. But you have Dwight Howard, who, by the way, still gives you a lot of energy, still is decent around the rim. But That's what they always have. And again, it's like they keep trying to reel you in. If you look at the 76ers on paper, they are a championship team. They have all the pieces of a championship. They have all the big names for a championship. But let's go back. Let's talk about all those players. Let's unveil the curtain. Let's really talk about these players. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let's talk about they have the coach, Doc Rivers, an NBA champion. Coach some of the best seasons that the Clippers had. Now let's unveil. Let's talk about everyone we just talked about. Let's start with Ben Simmons. Arguably one of the worst free throw shooters in the league. He's so scared and cannot shoot so bad that he doesn't even attempt jump shots. He doesn't even want the ball in the fourth quarter because he's not confident with himself making the free throw because he's not good at free throws. That's Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid, incredible talent. People can argue that he is the best center in the league, yet he cannot stay healthy. Year after year after year, he continues to get hurt. And honestly, it's usually lower extremity, either leg, ankle, foot. He's always getting hurt. Tobias Harris, the most inconsistent player ever, bro. One game, he'll be incredible, give you 30, be the reason why you won. The next game, he scores 4 points and doesn't score in the second half of the game. Seth Curry, incredibly good shooter, has a good ball handle, doesn't play a lick of defense. Hell no, Curry plays defense, but doesn't play a lick of defense. Dwight Howard, not the Dwight Howard of old, comes in the game and it seems like every time Dwight Howard gets in the game, he does a stupid foul, and then you look up like, damn, Dwight Howard's only been in the game for 6 minutes and has 3 fouls? And those 3 fouls put the other team in put the other team in the bonus. Doc Rivers, I think he's lost 11 games where he's been up 15 or more points. 11 in the postseason. I think that's the most in NBA history. I can keep going. Shake Milton, he's an average player. He has some good moments, but he's still a bench player. It's like this team, they keep. It's like the Corvette, man. The Corvette is a beautiful, beautiful car. You can get a great paint job. You can get, you can get the nice rims. You can get the muffler that's like you can get that junk. But at the end of the day, you can't use the damn car in the wintertime because it's not a winter car. It's like year after year after year, when you look on paper, you look at the and even most of the time in the regular season, you look and it's like this team should be good enough. This team is good enough. Well, let me say this. This team should be good enough to contend for a championship. But then you see they have games like Game 4 and Game 5 against the Hawks. And don't get me wrong. The Hawks are an incredible team. The Hawks are a young, scrappy team with a young star in Trae Young, with a young rising star in John Collins, with a good shooter in Bogdanovich, with a good veteran in Gallinari and Lou Williams. Like, they are a good team. But they should not, and I mean should not be up 3-2 as we speak against the number one overall seed in the East that has an MVP caliber player. Joel Embiid finished second in MVP, first team all defense. Ben Simmons finished second in defensive player of the year, first team all defense. Matisse Thybulle, who, by the way, I didn't mention, incredible defender. I think third team all defense. Or second. Second team all defense. Can't shoot to save his life. You're going against two All-Stars. 3 if you want to count Dwight Howard in his past days. But you're going up against 3 defensive player of the year or defensive players. The Atlanta Hawks are going up against 3 all defense players, 1 MVP candidate, 1 defensive player of the year candidate, and 1 all NBA teamer. And they're up 3-2. And that's more to do with the 76ers than it is with the Hawks. The 76ers are prone to have these meltdowns, even with the talent that they have. And what's worse, and I don't think it's worse, but what we're seeing is I don't think they're going to make a change. Because you look and you have an MVP candidate, you have a defensive player of the year candidate, you have 3 all NBA defensive teamers, whatever. You have an all NBA player, so they're gonna look like, well, it just didn't work out. Bro, this keeps happening. There should be no look at the history that they have. Losing against the Bucks. Losing the Bucks the way they lost to the Bucks, actually. No, not the Bucks. Not the Bucks. Who did they lose to in the bubble, bro? The Sixers lost. The Celtics. Losing to the Celtics the way that they lost in the bubble. Losing the way that they lost to Kawhi Leonard in the Toronto Raptors. It's like, that shouldn't happen. I said this before, and I'll conclude this part with this. I always said that Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid couldn't play together. I was wrong. I was wrong. I will admit that I was wrong. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid can definitely play together. I guess I'll credit Doc Rivers and his coaching staff for being able to get the most out of both Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid while they're both on the floor together. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid can play together. However, there is a ceiling, and that ceiling is not an NBA championship. Now, if they do win a championship this year or next year, I will come on here and say that I was wrong. I have no problem in admitting that I was wrong. Hell, I just admitted I was wrong when I said that I didn't think Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid can play together. So if I'm wrong, I will admit it. But what I'm seeing, they can play together, but their ceiling is not an NBA championship. With the way that Ben Simmons cannot shoot the ball, he can't shoot anywhere. Like he's only good at layups, dunks, maybe some floaters in the paint. If he's not in the paint, he's not efficient at all. So with Ben Simmons not being able to shoot a lick, Tobias Harris getting paid all that money to be as inconsistent as he is, and Joel Embiid, incredible player, arguably top 10 player when healthy, but the thing is when healthy. I think we've seen the best of the Sixers. It's just I don't know if it's hard for me from what I'm seeing in this series against the Hawks. If they do beat the Hawks, let's say they do beat the Hawks, I don't see them. I don't see them beating the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't see them beating the Brooklyn Nets, whoever comes out of that series. And if they make it to the championship, I don't see them beating anyone in the West because they're not consistent enough. Quite as arguably, to be completely honest, the Atlanta Hawks is the worst team in the playoffs right now. Remaining in the playoffs, not in general, but remaining in the playoffs. And you're in a dogfight with them. The Atlanta Hawks they're not the Milwaukee Bucks. They're not the Brooklyn Nets, especially if the Brooklyn Nets get Kyrie back. They're not the Utah Jazz. They're not, well, of course, we'll have to see what happens with Kawhi, but they're not the Clippers. They're not the Phoenix Suns. So, man, look. They have some good talent, man. The Sixers, Ben Simmons is a good talent. Joel Embiid is a great talent. But their limitations is glaring when at the worst moments, because again, a Corvette, man, beautiful car, paint job great, makes loud, fast car, great rims, great exterior, great interior. But it's a car that it's a summer car. The Sixers is a regular season team because they have not shown a consistency to be good in the playoffs or be good late in season, late in playoffs, because they just flame out.